Hi, this is Thorsten Hohmann and welcome to my snooker run on the pool table. Right off the bat, I had to make sure to fall on the low side of the black ball because when breaking up the reds, especially on a much smaller pool table, you want to drive those reds up table and away from the area surrounding the black ball spot. I didn't want any reds interfering with the path for the black ball in the future, so that worked out quite nicely. So here I was facing a dilemma. I had no natural position available to get back to the black, so I chose a shot that would be a magnitude harder on an actual snooker table. I decided to shoot the red up in the corner and use a forceful draw off the reds on the right hand side to bring me back to the black. And the high bridge here didn't make it any easier. By the way, I'm playing on a 9 by 4.5 feet standard pool table, and the balls I'm using are actually pool size with 4¼ inch or 57 millimeters. While the next shots looked pretty routine, I had already identified the two reds on the right rail as a potential problem, so my next shots set me up to address just that. With an intentionally more severe angle on the black and a lot of inside English, I was able to knock one of the two reds out in front of the side pocket and get perfect shape for the one closer to the rail. Where in snooker you might leave those reds on the rail till the end, as a general rule in pool you want to clear the long rails as soon as possible, as they can cause trouble further down the road. What may look like a cluster of reds just below the pink spot was actually quite manageable, because I saw one combination was available dead straight in the corner, as we will see shortly. Sometimes we get too playful and want to break up clusters where it's not really necessary, and all it takes is removing one or two key balls with careful cue ball control, and you don't risk getting stuck or running completely out of position. So after making the black and setting it back up again, I came around to give the combo another quick look, and by completing the red, black, red sequence, you can clearly see that the cluster that looked like an issue a while ago all of a sudden opened up like wildflowers in the spring. The next shots are more about risk management and keeping a steady rhythm. Sometimes you get too excited or nervous because the finish line is in sight, which can lead to breaking your pace, choking on your stroke, or not following through. On the other hand, there are times when you speed up because you can't wait to get it over with, which results in sloppy position play or missing an easy shot. Playing any cue sport on a high level requires you to find a nice balance. I want to say that I do not compare this run with the 147 or any run in snooker. What those guys do is insane, and I'm friends with many snooker pros. I just figured it would be super fun to give it a go and let my straight pool experience guide me through the patterns here. I got a little bit too thin on this red, which forced me to send the cue ball into the window between the red and the black. As a result, I'm on the rail, and from here on, I must admit, the run turns a bit into survival mode. I decided to keep things simple. Often it's about the decision, should I try and force the cue ball back into perfect shape, or should I just give myself at least a chance? I took the red in the side and made it, which was quite a relief. I tend to miss those shots. Here's the big difference between snooker and pool. Where in snooker, you want to break the balls off from the rail or take a shot in the side. In pool, you can comfortably shoot the ball up table and down the rail to avoid any unnecessary cue ball movement. The almost heartbreaker for me during the run. The angle on the black ball forced me to stun the cue ball towards the long rail and flirted way too much with the side pocket. I must admit I got a tiny bit lucky here. Although I got a little bit too straight on the last red ball, I was able to push the cue ball off the rail towards the black ball, and at this point the run turns into a rotation game for me. The rest is pretty much routine, and I can only imagine how a snooker player must feel when the TV lights are on and there's a potential huge bonus on the line for completing a perfect 147. I am as much snooker fan as most of you guys watching. I respect the game and the players tremendously, and I had the pleasure to play with Steve Davis on Europe's Mosconi Cup team in 2003 and played Jimmy White in my first television match ever in the World Pool Championship in Cardiff in the early 2000s. When I'm in New York, I sometimes play a game of snooker at the New York Athletic Club, and I have a century break to my credits. Luckily, I kept my position play till the end and I got the 147 under my belt here. Please like, share or comment on this video. I'd love to get your feedback. Thanks for having me and see you next time.